We're at the Natural History Museum today, focusing on influential women, past and present, who helped shape the Nat. Earlier, we talked to someone with the research library here about some very influential women that go way back in the museum's history.
I have a collection of women who had a really big impact at the Nat. First, we have Rosa Smith Eigenman, who was the very first female member of the San Diego Society of Natural History. So we were founded in 1874, and she joined in 1879 when she was a teenager. The very first female member was a 19-year-old girl who discovered a new species of fish, or described it to science, that was hiding under the caves in Point Loma. So she came to this group of men and presented her findings, and they were so enthralled to have her join. She attended all of the meetings, took notes, and then published them in the newspaper. So we actually have her to thank for recording a lot of the history of the early founding of the museum. This was our actually first employee of the Natural History Museum was a woman. So this is Kate Stevens. She was our curator of collections. So she studied paleomalacology, which is fossilized shells. And her husband was our first curator of birds and mammals, but apparently he was a really terrible driver. Nobody trusted him to drive anywhere, so she drove him on all of his expeditions. So even any of his findings were thanks to her efforts. This is Ethel Bailey Higgins. So she became our curator of botany when she was in her late 60s. She was widowed during the Great Depression with, I think it was like 17 cents to her name. But she, before it, had been taking photographs of plants and trying to identify the plants in her photographs, and became so knowledgeable. She started this new career as our curator of botany and went on expeditions into her 90s.
Coming up in the next half hour, more on the all-female-led project here at the Nat that's helping to preserve and restore the abundant canyon spaces here in San Diego.